This is James Mathers for the Digital Cinema Society at NAB 2024. I'm here in the SmallHD booth, and Wes Donahue is going to tell us about a really high-end reference monitor, but I understand it's not all that expensive.
Right. I mean, this is actually our first foray into what we consider to be a true color finishing monitor for HDR finishing. And you know, SmallHD's got a pretty well-known reputation for production monitors, but we've never really been in that high-end color post area. And so what this monitor is all about is it's really a set to post solution. So we're seeing more and more DPs working in HDR, monitoring on set in HDR, and wanting to be able to look at the SDR and HDR, compare it, and work with the same type of technology that's being used in the final color bay. And that's what Quantum 32 is all about.
Seems perfect for the DIT.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a little larger than a lot of the displays you might see on a DIT cart, but we have some features that kind of make that more advantageous for them. One of those is that in its quad mode, where you've got 4 different inputs, you can come in with your log feed and you can do SDR in one quadrant, HDR in another, SDR with a LUT, HDR with a LUT, be looking at all that at the same time on a single display.
Also matching cameras.
Correct.
And they look pretty rugged compared to some of the other reference monitors.
Right. These still use our same, unibody chassis, all aluminum. We just, that's certainly not necessary for post, but if you're going to have one monitor that does it all, they could care less if it's a little more durable, right?
Can you tell us about price and availability?
So we're bringing these into the market at around 13,000 list, and that's really interesting because, the only monitor this really compares to from the reference standpoint is the original Sony X300, which was an RGB OLED. Those were about $30,000. And most of the other high-end reference monitors that are on the market now, which are not OLED, they're still in that $30,000 range. So we've got something that performs very similarly and actually exceeds in some respects the original X300, and it has the same spectral characteristics. So if you're a color facility that uses those monitors and you need to add more, you can have now a monitor that's at a much better price point that also spectrally matches what you have with the X300. So that's something we're really excited about. And this panel technology is extremely innovative. What we really were impressed by with it is that, in order to do Dolby Vision type of reference mastering, you need a monitor that's at least capable of a 1000 nit peak. And nothing in the OLED area has been able to do that other than that original X300. These are able to do it, and the reason they are is that they use a really interesting technology called quantum dot nanoparticles. And what sounds like a whole lot of gobbledygook, but the quantum dot particles, these nanoparticles, actually won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry last year, the people that invented this. And what it is that the entire base layer of the OLED on this is blue. It's just all blue. And then they have another layer on top of that are printed nanoparticles, these quantum dots, that are 2 or 3 nanometers in size. And to give you an idea, your human hair is like 80,000 to 100,000 nanometers wide. So these particles are really small. And what they do when they're that small is they take on quantum properties. And so that blue light, when it hits them, it becomes emissive and emits in one subpixel very narrow spectrum red, another one very narrow spectrum green, and then the blue one just passes through. And you get very narrow spectrum RGB light, but you also get that bright energy that the blue channel below it is giving those quantum dots. So you're able to get the red and the green pretty bright and get higher expressions of color volume and higher luminance, and so you get a much more lifelike image. And so it's a really exciting new technology, and we're happy to have it.
When's it going to be available?
We will probably start shipping these in late summer, like I would say August.
Looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.